Hello and welcome
to Jurassic Park.
I'm just kidding. It's Eddie from Eddys Emporium. Lovely to have you here. It's episode 20. I can't believe 20 whole episodes of me. I know we've just done the 6-month mark, but again, 20 is a big number. It kind of feels like you just get into that bit of adulthood, bit of responsibility. You know, I don't know where I'm going with this. So you've probably noticed that I'm wearing a very preemptive Christmas jumper that's not for you, unfortunately not. Maybe you might be happy, you might not. It is because I was down in Milton Keynes today for a Christmas do for my, obviously, salary job. And I'll give you a little show of it. I'm a big pun guy. So you got Tree Rex right here. You've also got a stubbly Eddie because I forgot my razor, which is always a great impression to make when you're around your colleagues for the first time in God knows how long. But oh my God, I had a horrible night's sleep. So I've been in a Travelodge last night, and nothing wrong with the Travelodge itself apart from the room smelled a tiny bit, but you know, by the by, it's Travelodge. I'm not gonna kind of be too fussy. These people were up till 5 a.m. having some form of afters. Now, I might have been unlucky with the position of the room because it was right next to the elevator. The elevator kind of goes up and goes boom and makes a noise every time it does. But then the entrance point, when you kind of leave the elevator to get into like the hallway for the rooms, if you've been in Travelodge, you know what I'm on about. I was also next to her, so all I could hear from like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. was just these people going dun 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 dun, like going in and out the Travelodge. So I've had really broken sleep. 4 hours worth of travel back up from Milton Keynes to lovely old Carlisle, and obviously now I'm recording for you after scranning my dinner very fast. And if you're either very southern or anywhere else outside the UK, scranning just means eating, and usually quite fast, you know, scranner. But this isn't why we're here. We're not here to hear about my sleepy stories. It's been a good week for the Emporium. I think it has been slower than expected, but also better than usual because you've kind of got the end of Black Friday and the beginning of Christmas shoppers. So you're kind of having that transitional period between obligation to buy yourself something nice, usually quite big at Black Friday, and then start to think about buying other people things. Then maybe if you got something left over, you buy yourself something else. But I'm definitely starting to see a incline in more booster pack orientated sales this week, which is quite interesting, but it probably checks out with either you are buying a booster pack for yourself, maybe not a booster box, or you could be gifting that because it's a nice affordable way to buy a gift, because I sell nice affordable packs. Shameless plug. But that is obviously by the by. It is obviously great. I always do kind of say this every now and then because obviously you need to kind of fact check yourself. I'm in a transitional period, but obviously going from Japanese to English, that's obviously, you know, the big part of this year. And it's really interesting because when I look back and kind of the goal I set out around April, March time, when I was first building the website, I was like, you know, like to sell £5,000 worth of stuff. And, you know, I've almost 4x'd that in God knows how many months within that year. So, and I'm not even with the year finished now. We've still got technically 4.5 more months of that financial year, kind of from April to April, to really kind of drive home that success. And I think I've learned a lot across them few months that we've kind of made mistakes over, learned how to manage with distributors, obviously importing, which is the first kind of port of call with Eddys Emporium, and all them other things. But, you know, I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm also shattered, and, you know, you might not find that interesting until maybe a later video when I can deep dive that kind of thing. So one of the Yu-Gi-Oh sets that I got was released, and it's the Retro Pack 2. I ordered quite a few of them just because I think it's going to be a good slow burner over the years. Obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not as successful or as like prevalent, I think that's the right word. I'll put a little description there if I put the wrong word in, of as the kind of, it's like kind of One Piece and all the other things. But Yu-Gi-Oh does well with nostalgia. Myself, got excited about this. Generally, rule of thumb is if you're kind of in the space and you are a fan, other people will be doing the same sort of thing. The same kind of has happened with the Monster Mayhem set. It's just fun. It's chibi variants of kind of monsters you like and love growing up. It sells well, or at least for me. But that could be because I price well. But actually, I've not opened a pack yet. Let's get some dopamine. And so this set here, Retro Pack 2, it's kind of like a multiple set. I don't believe that I think they re-released Retro Pack in America, I'm thinking, but it's kind of has your usual hang on. Fan favourites in, obviously, you know, Retro Pack 1 being, you know, the other one. Oh, that must be the chosen one. New pack smell. Again, there we go. Yu-Gi-Oh! Retro Pack 2. Really cool cards. You got Guy of the Fierce Knight, and I can't remember the one in the back. That's not Red Eyes. No, it's definitely not Red Eyes. I can't actually remember that one. I'm losing my touch. I'll try and do it to the camera, but the camera will be backwards, I believe. So, and I don't know a pack trick. God, the back of these to me are like the most nostalgic thing. You know, it takes me back to my childhood. Hang on, T-Brick. Right, okay. Oh, actually, it's flipped. Right, got Insect Imitation. Sorry, I'm going to try and do this. Light Force Sword. These are so nostalgic. Tornado Wall. I don't even know the value of any of these, by the way. It's just purely vibes. There is a lot of magic and trap cards in here, though. Torrential Tribute. Oh, Morphin Jar. Ugh. This one always reminds me of the anime. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Duelist Kingdom. Morphin Jar was one of the big ones there. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Bukatayu. Gravekeeper Spy. Oris Breeze. I think the pack might be 3 or 4 from the back. But Morphin Jar must be the hit from that one, which is very, very cool. Very nostalgic for me. In other notes, I managed to get the avatars delivered to me. It was a fairly meaty delay, but I can't really blame that on the distributor or Wizards. Well, I can kind of blame it on distributor. They went through obviously a big transitional period, a new website, and it just didn't go to plan for them operationally. And, you know, these things happen, but everything seems to be back on track now. So as long as I'm paying my bills, I'm getting delivered on time. So good to have that out of the way. It was a shame that it happened for one of the biggest sets of the year. But if you go on the website now, you can grab them while you can. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Well, it could be for you, you know, you might get the card you want. And in other news, again, grading. MGC had a good sale for Black Friday, and I managed to send off another 40 strong submission, predominantly Pokemon, but there is some One Piece in there, Yu-Gi-Oh, nostalgic Yu-Gi-Oh again, and some Y Schwartz, but I think that was the Marvel one, so I got some cool like little Deadpool SP cards in there somewhere, so I think just on a visual basis, and Deadpool sells well, so I've got some other ones there. I think a Doctor Strange card. See how that does. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what grades they come back with. And yeah, we'll probably have an unboxing video. I've still not edited the other unboxing video. So when you see one come out, I will have a full beard. And you will just see it. I've not come back in time. I've not aged. Maybe mentally. Who knows? I'm waffling. Eddie, delete that.
No. No, I don't think I will.
And so in the TCG news space, I've been fairly out the loop. I've been quite busy this week, but I know not Veronica, the other one, I think Sarah, the other voice of Ash Ketchum, had released a picture of signing a big board of cards. And if you have seen it or if you've not seen it, it's essentially Topps signatures. And I think it was Pokemon Advanced, the last top set. That's really testing my memory. But if you have been around the Pokemon space, you'll have seen Pokemon Topps, Topps Chromes. And obviously, you mainly relate them to kind of sports and kind of Disney, I suppose, and them sort of like collaborations. But it seems that for the 30th anniversary, we are going to be getting some Topps collaborations. Now, nothing's been confirmed, but if Pokemon and Topps come out, you can imagine how a serialized card is going to massively impact the market. Now, for me, my biggest concern is not actually the reaction to Topps. If there is a one-of-one Pokemon out there, we already know that's going to be extortionate. We already know there's going to be hype trains, Scalper 5000s, and everything like that. My big concern is if Pokemon see this and see it as a win, because I've seen quite a few people mention it, but the impact of this and the knock-on effect could mean serialized cards or, something along them lines for Pokemon. And I think that it will be catastrophic. It just doesn't feel right at all. It feels like a bit horrible thing. We sort of see it now with the mega ultra rares coming into it. It in itself is almost like a lottery with the 1 in 1,200 packs to hit Mega Charizard. I don't know if that has changed with more data that's came out, but I remember the last time I saw it, like around a couple of days after release. That is a pretty scary concept. Now, for me, I am not looking forward to the feeling that that's going to come with, because I know myself, I will absolutely crumble over having some kind of exclusive Pokemon cards. I'm not going to pretend and white knight the situation. I equally am just as gullible when it comes to something I love and being very limited. Everybody wants it, but the problem is when you make it so finite, it then excludes the rest of the community, especially when it comes to obviously cards that are in the hundreds and people buying up stock and then sitting unsealed. It just prices out everyone instantly. So I don't feel too good about that as a fan. It'll be very interesting to see how it transitions in terms of stock and allocations and distribution from a business perspective. But yeah, it's going to be a bit funny. And I saw a statistic come out about Beckett the other day. I think it was obviously, I can't remember who does it. If I find the graph, I'll pop it up. But it showed that obviously, PSA leading the line in terms of grading like 90,000 plus a week. And the one that shocked me the most, because I really hold them in high esteem, is Beckett. They're only grading around 2,000 to 2,200 on this graph a week. And, obviously, CGC and everyone else like that. But it was crazy to see that, like, they were so far down. And it's kind of like a weird bottleneck situation, because I hold a black label in the highest respect as just a personal preference. And I know a lot of people do, because the grading criteria are so hard to hit a black label, which makes it sought after. Now, this was quite a weird one, because maybe people aren't going to them because of like the price or the turnaround time or just the difficulty to hit a 10, especially of a black label. Now, when you kind of make it so exclusive, you need to really have a target market and clientele. Now, why would I chance sending a Pokemon card in, me personally, to Beckett, knowing it could get a gold 10, which is, in my eyes, better grade-wise than a PSA 10. Then obviously you've got the black label on top of that as a chance. Or would I just kind of bet on a almost guaranteed PSA 10 that has a lot more industry standing, from a secondary market? And I feel like Beckett, I really have limited knowledge, obviously, how they operate as a business outside of how I see them. So let me know if I'm wrong in the comment sections. I feel that they've not cornered that market well enough, and they've just made a couple of decisions that haven't really gone in the way of getting in new clients. Because, you know, for anime and all that kind of thing, you know, I would want a manga Black Label. I kind of like One Piece and Beckett feels better than One Piece and PSA. I don't know why. It's what I've seen. It's how I see them. A lot of like Whites and other kind of anime centric TCGs go there. But when you do have a business that big and that successful and that respected, something must be going wrong for you to be getting. Oh my god, I'm not even going to try and do the math here, but like, you know, a really small percentage of PSA's weekly goings when, you know, I see them on the same level. Like, you know, if you would put these TCG grading companies on a podium, PSA would be first, CGC, Tag, and Beckett would be fighting for them podium spots. Just on Heritage, I'd probably put like CDC and then obviously Beckett there. You could switch them around depending on what you want to get graded. How is Beckett getting so little? I think something needs to be looked into there, but let me know, because I don't know. I don't know. Is it the price? Is it the value? Is it the difficulty? You know, all these things could be contributing factors, but it's a bit of a mystery right now. But I think Beckett need to do something soon to be able to re-establish themselves in the market, because that can't be good for their costs and outgoings. It doesn't seem sustainable. And all right, that's it. That's me done for this week. I'm going to go edit this video and fall asleep because I'm running on fumes right now. But I'm hoping you are having a lovely week. I hope you are doing all your Christmas shopping, or at least have done all your Christmas shopping, unlike moi, who is going to be spending the next week and a half, 2 weeks stressing, whilst also trying to run a business, live a life, eat happy snackies. I'm going to go shave now, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening. Ciao.